Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is Straight Outta Boston, and today I'm back for episode 19 of my Pro Team series here on Tour de France 2015 on the PlayStation 4. So, although the last episode is probably like a week ago now, if you guys do not remember, we did qualify for the Tour de France in the last episode, so we're getting that started this time around. We've got the first 5 stages, I want to say, of the race. I'm going to try and split the race into 4 episodes, and I do want to apologize. I have not posted this series in like a week, I think now, and that's my fault. I really should be posting this series as much as I can because these videos don't take very long to record and they don't take very long to edit. It's like significantly less time than it takes me to put out pretty much any other type of video on my channel that I do put out, so I'll make a point to put more of these out in the future. But anyway, we've got Manuel Quinzado here riding in the prologue, so it's a 13-kilometer prologue, not quite the 2-kilometer and the, what was it, like the 5-kilometer we had in the last couple of races that Quinzado's won. So remember, he's won every time trial since being on our team, I believe. But this one is going to be a little bit tougher. You can see he comes through the first checkpoint, 6th place, 8 seconds back, so not too bad, definitely holding his own. And I think overall, you know, riding pretty well. He's simply not as good of a time trial or as Tony Martin or Fabian Cancellara or a lot of the other, you know, really elite guys that are really time trial specialists. But as you can see, I sort of mismanaged his energy as well, so he's really struggling as we come down the final stretch here. You can see the blue bar, the energy bar, getting quite low as we come under the Flamme Rouge here, the 1 kilometer to go banner. And we have got about 700 meters now, kicking it to the final portion of the stage here. And you can see it looks like we're going to come in well under our objective, which is good. But we'll see where Quinzado falls in the overall. Comes in about 1606, 1607, something around there. And it would be good for 9th place. He ends up finishing 32 seconds back of Tony Martin, the winner on the day. But 9th place overall, pretty respectable positioning there for Quinzado. Very satisfied with that. And you can see we do complete our objective, finishing in less than 1620. And the big thing about being in the Tour is the monetary, you know, compensation you get for finishing, you know, high up on the stage or high up in whatever. You know, you get a lot of money for being in this race. So even a top 10, that's 73,000 euros. That's really going to help us out building our team next year. And if you guys don't know, you know, we're going to have a lot of new riders unlocked next year, so hopefully we're going to really be able to upgrade the team. That's thanks to winning the Criterium and then finishing the top 10 in the Dauphiné. That'll help us unlock more riders. We've got the intermediate sprint here with Daryl Impey, and you can see Impey, I was in good position there, but I just got caught and didn't react in time and sort of start out from behind here. And you can see I am going to end up, I think I get like 13th overall, which would have been 9th out of the group, okay, because of the 4 guys in the breakaway, of course. But anyway, yeah, just really not up to snuff here. So this was the only intermediate sprint I participated in this episode. I quickly decided after this stage that I am not going to be going for the green jersey. I'm not even going to try. And as you're going to see here, Impey really struggling down the final stretch here. We've got about 3 kilometers to go, and his blue energy bar is almost completely depleted. So really, this Tour de France is going to be all about stage wins and just trying to compete and showcase our team and get our sponsors out there and all that stuff. And just try and get as much money as possible to build the best team possible going into next season, where hopefully we'll be a little bit more prepared, and we'll just, you know, have the roster to compete at the Tour de France. Because right now, I mean, we might be able to win a stage or two if we get lucky, if we, you know, play our cards right, and, you know, maybe a guy like Riblon or Gautier can take a mountain stage or a hilly stage or something like that. I don't know, we'll see. But, and, you know, maybe one day Impey gets lucky, maybe there's a big crash, or maybe, you know, something happens. I mean, you never know. That's kind of the cool thing about the Tour de France and about the sport of cycling in general is, you know, you really never know what's going to happen on any given stage. It's always very hard to predict. So, anyway, we come across, we don't even finish in the top 25 of that stage, so we don't get any money. But we do have stage number 3, and this is actually going to be an interesting one because we got the Mur de Huy, I hope I pronounced that correctly, here at the end of the stage. And you can see we're coming up on the Mur de Saint-Léonard, which is the short little category 2 climb right before the Mur de Huy. It's only 1 kilometer, I believe, so it's a very short one. As you can see, Riblon trying to get his way up to the front of the pack here. Most of the guys just accelerating all the way up the mountain here. It's such a short and punchy climb that you pretty much got to go all out when you're on it. And you can see here Riblon trying to come up. He's got his way pretty much up to, or at least, you know, close enough to the front. I mean, it's not a huge gap between him and the leaders of the peloton, but anyway, I believe our objective, or, you know, our goals of the race would be like top 20, I think, in the overall. I think that's one of our objectives, and then I think the other one's like win the race and finish the race. So I think a top 20 with a guy like Riblon might be an attainable goal. You know, he does have that high stamina rating and that high recovery rating, so Hopefully he could last pretty well in a Grand Tour and maybe just simply outlast a lot of the other competition, but we'll see. I'm certainly going to try and get a top 20 in the GC, but I'm certainly not getting my hopes up. I'm not counting on anything. But here was the nice little showing by Riblon. You can see sticking for the most part with the front guys here. You know, not too many people in front of him, although you do see some of the big names. I mean, I think Froome, Nibali, Contador, all those guys, Quintana included, were all up ahead. But Riblon, you know, he's 18th, 17th, coming up here, passing Tony Martin, Peter Sagan, Luis Leon Sanchez. Actually, Martin riding quite well up this little hill, and then it flattens out as we get to the top. But that is such a hard little climb there. It's you know, it's 12% in some sections, so it is not an easy climb. But as you can see, Riblon comes across. He's going to end up getting 12th, right behind Tony Martin. It's not a bad showing by him, and it would actually really up his GC, as you will see in the next clip here, as you're going to end up seeing. We finish in 12th on the day. Then you can see pretty much all the big names of the guys that finished ahead of him. Did finish ahead of Mollema and you know, some other big names there too. But it gets Riblon all the way up to 17th overall, which is pretty nice. So he bumps up 29 spots, and Quinzado actually loses 88 spots when it goes from 9th to 97th. That is pretty bad, but not like it was unexpected. So anyway, we are done with that stage. Now we are moving on to the next one. I think we've got another flat stage, and then we've got a cobble stage here. So actually, this is the cobble stage, excuse me. So the cobble stage was an interesting one because Filippo Pozzato, and he's not even on the team for this reason, but he's actually quite good in the cobbles, and our objective was to finish in the top 10 on the day with him. So I immediately knew I might have a chance to actually win this stage, and you can see we're getting on to I think this is maybe the third or fourth sector of cobbles. I think there are 7 total onto this stage, and you can see the pace really getting picked up now. This is where the splits are going to start to happen, so we've got to get our way to the front, and now you can see a group starting to form. There's a bit of an attack going on out front. Cancellara and Boonen are well ahead, as is Degenkolb, so I decide I want to be with this front group of 4, and Pozzato's got plenty of energy left, plus he's got his energy bar, so I thought I can put in the effort and try to catch up to these guys, and I do just that. Lars Boom tried to stick with me, but he ends up falling back to the other group there. So it's pretty much a breakaway of 4 right now. It is Pozzato, Degenkolb, Boonen, and Fabian Cancellara, and you're going to see this gap continue to extend itself, and we're actually 30 seconds up now as we leave this cobble sector. But take a look at this. They put in an attack right as we get off the cobbles. I don't know if that was like directly to drop Pozzato. Who knows, but I was a little bit caught off guard by it. So as you can see, and I really don't want to use up too much of my energy right now because we still got 20 kilometers to go or so. So I'm not trying to go too hard. I'm in the low gear ratio, and I am going to eventually make my way back up here, but you know, I didn't mind sticking a little behind them for a ways, because like I said, I really don't want to overexpend myself too early on. But as you can see, we've got about 90 seconds on the second group down the road there, so with 15 kilometers to go and the caliber of rider into this little group here, I would say it's pretty certain that this group is going to stick away, and you know, someone from this group will win the stage. But we'll see. Here's another attack, this one by Cancellara. Degenkolb responds, and now Boonen is on my wheel as I try to catch up to him. We're on the next sector of cobbles here, and you can see I'm trying to catch up. The cobbles I really thought is where I could put in some time with Pozzato, so I'm in the high gear ratio. I taking my energy bar here because you can't attack on these roads for obvious reasons. But anyway, so we're just pretty much pushing it as hard as we can. The gap is starting to go down, but now Cancellara is actually dropping Degenkolb, so eventually Degenkolb will catch back up. But still, now we're 20 seconds back, so the gap sort of fluctuating here. Not really feeling too great being behind. And you know, Cancellara is such a good time trialer; he can just ride away from guys. So I'm not really feeling too good about being behind this far. So I'm trying to catch up, and now it looks like well, it looked for a second there like Degenkolb is getting dropped by Cancellara, but they have regrouped, and now Boonen on my wheel. I'm coming up 6 seconds behind. Still at 6 seconds now. It's 5 seconds holding there, but we will eventually make our way back up before I think we have one more sector of cobbles, I want to say. I'm not 100%. I'm honestly not even 100% sure, and I can't read that mini map because my screen is too small. But here you go. You know, right when I catch back up, they start to attack again, and Boonen can't even keep up, and now neither can I. You can see I'm running really low in energy here, and I don't want to overexpend it with Pozzato because I don't want him to blow up. I think, hey, if we get a top 3 or a top 5 or whatever, you know, I take it. So anyway, now Degenkolb drops Cancellara too, so it's Pozzato, Cancellara, and Boonen riding to the line here. Degenkolb about 20 seconds ahead with 2 kilometers to go. Here is the final stretch. I'm putting in all my effort here. I'm just trying to get my way back up to the front. I know that I'm not going to be able to outsprint Tom Boonen, and there you go. Boonen launches the sprint here, but Degenkolb 500 meters to go, and he is going to go on to win the day. So an impressive victory for John Degenkolb, and here I'm just pretty much using cheeky block tactics to block Cancellara and secure my top 3 spot on the overall. So anyway, 3rd place on the day. I thought that was pretty good for Pozzato. You know, coming into it, I really didn't even realize that Pozzato was good on the cobbles, so I was kind of caught off guard, like I said at the beginning of the stage. But a top 3, I'll definitely take it, and Pozzato actually pulls his way all the way up to 2nd place overall in the GC, so that's pretty cool. If something was to happen to Cancellara, I mean, it's a sizable margin down. I don't think we're going to, you know, I think the chances of Pozzato ever taking yellow in this race are pretty slim, but hey, if Cancellara was to crash or suffer a flat or something late in the stage, the opportunity is going to be there. So, you know, overall, I was very satisfied with how Pozzato did. And you can see pockets 112,000 euros for the team. So we've got one more stage in this episode. It's another pretty standard flat stage, and this one's I'm gonna knock this out really quickly. Like I said, I'm not participating in any more intermediate sprints, so we're just skipping ahead to the final 3 kilometers of the stage. And you can see a group of sprinters starting to split off here. So I'm gonna try and catch my way back up. I'm trying to grab someone's wheel. I end up sort of just riding up alongside here, and sort of get caught off there. But now I'm going to launch the sprint. I'm sort of trying to figure out ways, because it's quite clear that Impy's never just going to flat out beat a guy like Cavendish or Greipel or any of those guys really in a straight stage. You sort of have to figure out the right tactics, the right time to go. And clearly there I went too early because I ran out of energy by the end. But I don't know. I got to figure it out. We'll see. I would say if we're going to win a stage this tour, it's probably not going to be Impy, but we'll certainly keep trying. I mean, on those flat stages, we pretty much have nothing else to do, so might as well go for it and, you know, secure some top 10s or something. I mean, that certainly will help monetarily. So anyway, that is going to do it. Hope you guys did enjoy this episode. Thanks for watching. I'm out. Peace.